Being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order if I could. Could I have acceptance of the agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Are there any walk-ins tonight? Walk-ins? Okay.
Actually, Mr. Chair, I have a walk-in,
Okay. Oh, that's right. I saw an email to that effect.
so let me just get the folks out in the hall. I asked the chief to ask Officer Kirkbride and Officer McLaughlin to come to the meeting tonight to share with you an incident that happened recently. So, Chief Stewart?
Yeah, I appreciate the time before the board to acknowledge these two officers for a job well done. If it's okay, I prefer just read from the paperwork which I've issued to them. Officer McLaughlin received a department commendation. It reads as follows. On May 30th, 2014, you responded with other units to a report of an emotionally disturbed person armed with a knife who posed a danger to himself and his family. Upon your arrival, you entered the house with another officer, that officer being Officer Kirkman. Upon locating the subject on the second floor of the subject advanced on your position with a large knife to his throat, placing you and your partner in immediate danger. Upon drawing your weapon and ordering the subject to drop the knife, he instead turned in the direction of a family member with whom he had been arguing. You observed an opportunity to disarm the subject and wrestled the knife from the subject while tackling him to the floor. During this incident, you showed tremendous restraint in the face of a serious threat. Your leadership, decisiveness, and bravery in this stressful situation acted as a positive training experience for other officers. The Scituate Police Department commends your handling of this situation and keep up the good work. Officer Kirkbride, thank you, received a department recognition for his involvement with this incident, and it reads in part very similar, that on that date he responded with other units to emotionally disturbed person, posed a threat to his family and himself. Upon entering the house, they confronted the subject on the second floor. The subject advanced on their position with a large knife to his throat, placing Officer Kirkbride and his partner, Officer McLaughlin, in danger. Upon drawing your weapon and ordering the subject to drop the knife, he instead turned in the direction of a family member with whom he had been arguing. You assisted your partner acting on an opportunity to physically subdue the subject on the floor and secure the knife. During this incident, you showed tremendous restraint and bravery in the face of a serious threat. You will find in your career that decisiveness and instincts in stressful situations are made knowing the abilities and sometimes the limits of your partner. Be assured your partners know and respect your capabilities as a police officer and a partner, as evidenced by their actions that night. The Scituate Police Department recognizes your handling of this situation. Keep up the good work.
Hear, hear.
Wow. I'd like to just stop by saying, I saw you had an email you wanted to have a walk-in, but I had no idea. And it's stuff like this. We hear in the newspapers, we hear every time we turn the TV on, something bad happens. This is amazing. And the fact that nobody got hurt is, that's just wonderful. All your training and all that stuff, I suppose it kicks in when it has to, that's just, I love to hear stuff like this, and I know.
This was actually Officer McLaughlin's second incident in a matter of 4 months where he's been involved with disarming somebody with a knife.
Wow. Without the dog.
Without the dog.
Wow. That's amazing. Brian, how long have you been on?
10 years.
Okay. And Officer Kirkbride, you're
Yes.
feeling new?
I've been on 5 years as a PI special, and this is my first year on full-time.
First year. All right. That's baptismal by fire, pretty much. That's awesome. That's
They did a
great.
job.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Anybody else that's,
I just want to say, you're in a profession that, a lot of people don't realize there are inherent dangers, and clearly there's a situation you exemplified the true officer that we need for our town. And what I mean by that, in essence, is you made the right choice, and you saved people, and in saving your partner yourself, protecting. And that's not an easy decision to make, given the situation, and commend you all for it, and thank you.
Great, that's awesome. Now, do they do training, ongoing training for stuff like this, Chief?
They never train wrestling knives away from people.
Well, I don't know.
It's, it's actually something they consider a real threat. Somebody with a knife who's within 23 feet of you, then, you could exercise different judgment under those conditions. This was a situation because of the proximity of a family member to the situation. They couldn't have done that. So they did what they had to do.
I mean,
and acted at great risk to their own safety.
Right.
But the situation was rendered safe. The person is getting the help they need, and
That's
it ended well.
great. Thanks again. And feel free to come in every meeting with stuff like this. This is great.
Well, maybe not this dangerous, but we'll consider.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Town's proud of you.
Thank you.
We certainly are, that's for sure. Okay, next, we're going to be reorganizing. Every year, we typically change chairman, vice chairman, clerk. I don't think we're going to change. It's my opinion. But I'll entertain a motion for reorganization.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we elect Mr. John Danahy as our chairman for the coming year.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second for John?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? of
Oh, wait, we
appoint-
need some discussion.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Before I'll ask for a vote, I guess. All those in favor of John being chairman?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? John, you're it. Typically, vice chairman,
I'd like to move, if I could, that Mr. Harris, now he's relieved of the duties of the chairman, be elected vice chairman for the coming year.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
I move Marty O'Toole to be the clerk of the Board of Selectmen.
Second. Quickly.
Second, that was fast. Okay, all those in favor? Marty being the clerk once again? Aye. And opposed? It's unanimous. Well, I'll change seats right now, John, and there you go. All right. It's all yours.
Congratulations.
Condolences.
Before I just could have 1 minute, and I just wanted to thank the town administrator, Lorraine, coming in just a few months ago, Michelle came in, shortly before her. Being the chairman is really difficult. I think I've been chairman 3 or 4 times, but this was really, really smooth, and it was enjoyable. So I want to thank all you girls. It was nice. Thank you very much. That's it. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Sean. But I think it's probably apropos for us to thank you as a board. Sean has been selectman now for 18 years, only being re-elected just recently, which we're very happy about. He's been chairman in 2001, 2007, and of course 2013. And many of you may or may not understand, but when you're chairman or chairwoman, but in this case chairman, you're constantly on call. It's a lot more time commitment than the regular time commitment that each board member has, and it's very stressful. And I have to tell you, appreciate Sean's hard work doing it. You're 24/7, not just from his own business and from his family, but from the town's perspective. And I think we also should thank the support that his wife, I'm sure, or the indulgences his wife have given to the town for allowing him to do it for all these years. And I just want to say, on behalf of the board, we want to thank you very much. I'm glad you're vice chair, because it's always helpful to have somebody with all that experience to be able to draw upon. And also, I have to tell you, the other thing I really appreciate about Sean is Sean is a native. His family's from here, he's from here. He brings a huge perspective to this board that I think is very important for this town to have a voice and to understand, growing up here, as opposed to people like myself who've moved into the town. So we're very fortunate and blessed to have that, and the town is too. And so we do have a token of our appreciation, Sean, as always, and,
Thank you for those kind words. That's more than enough, John.
Okay, put it back.
all right.
Save it for next year.
We'd like to give that to
You're
Sean.
not going to make me open it now, are you?
It's up to you. You're welcome to, or you can.
God, that's
It feels like it. Wow. It's like Christmas. Looks like a thermostat. That's the way they come.
Oil meter.
Oh, wow, that's very nice. Wow. It's great. Thank you very, very much, guys. This look good on my desk. I really appreciate it.
You did a great job, Sean.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Once again, it was fun. It really was. And when you surround yourself with people like you guys on the board, as well as the staff every day, it's from one door to the other, it makes it much more enjoyable. You will find out once again. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so, at this point, we have the report from our town administrator. Tricia, what would you like to report to the board?
In the interest of brevity, I did distribute, Lorraine, I'm sorry, I forgot to give you this Friday, the current items pending, which you haven't seen for a while, so you can peruse that at your leisure to see where we're at with the town. And this week, and next week, we've been very busy interviewing local building inspectors and coastal resource officers. We hope to schedule latter part of next week. So we really want to try to get those folks on board as soon as after the fiscal year starts, since our building, as you saw this week, continues to increase exponentially. And also, the summer season is almost upon us. The beaches will open on Sunday, June 29th. So that means that even though you can go to the beach now with a sticker, they will not be lifeguarded until June 29th. So the lifeguards are undergoing rigorous training for the whole week before the 29th. We'll give them one day to sleep, and then they'll be here for the real thing on Sunday, June 29th.
On that note, are they
Are they staffed?
staffing the full beaches, or are they going to continue, are they going to have the same staffing as they had last year?
They'll have the same staffing as last year because they do not have enough lifeguards. They thought they did, and then due to attrition, as folk, kids and teens and young adults move through the process, they sort of lose some, and they lost 4 last week. So up until then, it looked like we were going to be able to open Sand Hills.
Can I ask a question on the beaches before?
Sure.
I know we talk about this every year, but is there any way we can get more trash cans out there? This weekend, they just overflow, and I know that they pick them up, I don't know what days they actually pick them up, but I know by the end of the day on Saturday, the end of the day on Sunday, it's just a mess there. So if there's any way we...
I'll talk to Kevin. They do pick up every day. We pay overtime to have them picked up on Saturday and Sunday. It's just a lot of volume of folks at the beaches, but I'll definitely talk to the DPW.
Maybe we have to
Yeah.
double or triple the number of cans on the
Yeah.
weekend, but...
The same at the Marine Park dumpster.
Okay, I think that's on a separate
It's separate contract, but
Yeah,
now that boating's here and everybody's doing stuff, that's filling up real fast.
okay.
Just on that note, Tricia and Tony, that one of the articles at annual town meeting was to purchase a truck that would do that faster and easier,
Yes.
so the employees don't have to make 16 trips to the transfer station. So I'd like to think the
That's
same
right.
amount of barrels will get emptied easier, faster.
And they can do more rotations,
Right.
right?
I'd like to think
Forgot
that's the
about that.
case.
You're right,
so
Sean.
See what happens.
Well, since we're still on garbage,
Good start to your term, John. It's all uphill from here.
I hope it doesn't go down. I noticed on 3A, there, right before the bridge, there's a park there, and I don't know if that's our park or not,
Yes,
but I
it
did
is.
see town employees.
Yes.
There seemed to be a few barrels there. I didn't know whether it was prudent to have a number of barrels there, due to the fact that, many people like to share their garbage, their personal garbage.
I share that opinion, and Mr. Bangert and I have had that conversation, so.
Fair enough. Just-
Yep. I want to update the board on, and Michelle's still here, a little bit on the use of the Scituate Harbor Community Building. As you know, the town is managing both the operation and rental of the Maritime Center and the Harbor Community Center, but I really want to focus on that. Michelle is the reservationist for both of those buildings. She brings people down there to see the facility for rental. She does all the applications for rental and makes sure his insurance and payment of fees are there. She does a terrific job. I think it's important, so the board knows and the town in general, that that building is not lying fallow. As you can see, I had Michelle print the schedule for the next 3 months. There is a tremendous amount of stuff going there, on there, all the time, and the rental activity is slowly picking up, and I think we've developed a survey instrument to get people's feedback about the facility and how we can make it better. So, it is a community asset, and it took us a long time to get it to really start to pay its dividends. The other thing I wanted to update the board, I met with Representative Cantwell again last week. We are moving through the legislature to lift the use restriction of that building so that the opportunity to do different things with the building will not have the overlay of the fact that it has to be used, its primary purpose has to be used for educational and public purposes. So I just, I think it's important for folks to know that the building is used regularly and that it's an asset to the community.
Tricia, on that note, is there a bill actually filed by Jim Cantwell, or what is the action that he's doing? Is he soliciting, God bless, the MBTA? Is that what he's trying to do, or what's the
Right, so
process so
the
people
board
understand?
voted to ask Representative Cantwell to file special legislation last August, and Representative Cantwell's initial meetings with the MBTA indicated that it might not have to go through the legislature. So then that came full circle, and yes, it does need to go through the legislature. So that started a little delay again. However, the head of the Department of Transportation changed, and now we have Richard Davey, and Mr. Davey was more open to a conversation about maybe it not going through the legislature. So we're sort of right there right now, but Jim still thinks it's probably going to have to go through the legislature, and he's going to file something imminently. But if it doesn't have to go through that process, then certainly we'll have some sort of agreement with MBTA to sort of amend the use restriction and in fact trying to void it.
So filing with the legislature, though, that's not going to happen in this session, I would assume.
He
So
can
the
do a
session would
special bill file to do it, yeah. So, and that's all I had.
Just in terms of, I noticed in the calendar, during the week it gets quite a bit of use. On the weekends, not as much. So there is availability if people want to
Yep.
rent it.
It's picking up, but we're still trying to inform people, you're right.
So just so people know, the 20 people that are watching this, the Maritime Center is a little bit more expensive than Pier 44, and I'll probably mess up the numbers, Michelle or Tricia can help me, but the Maritime Center is $300?
$450
$450,
for residents,
like I said.
$600 for non,
Okay,
and Harbor Community is $300 for residents, $400 for non.
and the facilities both can be used for town events and town activities, town-related meetings, but this is for outside use for
Yes,
private
for
use.
private use, yep.
Good. So that's a pretty good deal for both of those. But Pier 44, how many people can it hold about?
Oh, Pier 44 is several hundred.
Yeah, several hundred
If you're
people.
using the entire building.
And the Maritime Center, about 100 maybe?
About 90.
90.
max.
90 standing,
Yep.
60 seated, I believe.
What is the capacity? I know we talked about it, the Harbor Community Building. It's got a pretty large capacity.
I want to
Used to
say
be 400 seats.
260, chief? Any-
Might be more than that.
50 to 275.
Yeah. So 260.
Pretty good.
That's pretty.
So again, for residents, Pier 44, which is the community building, is $300, and for residents of the Maritime Center, it's $450. Great.
So that was my brief report, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Oh, and I just wanted to say one more thing. I just personally wanted to thank Sean. It's been a real pleasure to work with you the past year through challenges and rewards, and looking forward to working with Mr. Dennehy again. This will be my second time with John as chair, and expecting a repeat performance. So thank you. But thank you very much, Sean. It was great.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We're going to move on to, what are we on now? We're on, 7:10. We're behind schedule here. Service Anniversary Awards for employees with 25 years or more service for 2013. I'd like to move to the first recipient. Is Donna Abruzzi here? I just want to, Donna's been with the a librarian technician for 30 years, and
Good idea.
want to say thank you, and we have a gift for you for your service.
Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you.
John, can I say? I wanted to sort of preface this in a recognition of the longevity awards we're giving out to service. I had the accounting office run the average length of tenure with our town employees, so I thought it would be really interesting to briefly share. All our professional employees, the department heads, the average length of service is 10 years. In the DPW, water, sewer, transfer station, highway, public grounds is 11 years. In the fire department, it's 16 years is the average length of service. For the police department, it's 17 years of service. For our support staff, our clerical support staff, it's 10 years of service. And town-wide, it's 13 years. The average person is here 13 years of all our 200 employees. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, it's good.
Doing something right.
Right.
Yes. Well, in this day and age in particular, you know, we appreciate the loyalty of our employees, and I think the town should appreciate it, and I know they do. And so we've started this about 4 years ago, this recognition here, which I think is a really nice tribute. The recognition here as opposed to doing through the department heads, and I just think it's something the Board of Selectmen should do to recognize you folks for your service and loyalty. So I'd like to move to Officer O'Hara. Michael J. O'Hara for the Police Department also has 30 years of service.
Did it go by quick, Mike?
You took two.
Beautiful town you have here.
Thank you, Mike.
The other happens to be our two chiefs, the other two, Chief Michael Stewart for 30 years of service for the police department, and also Chief Judge for also 30 years of the fire department. So we want 35. I take that back. We'll get to you later, Rick. So we're going to do Michael then. Chief Stewart, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
And finally, last but not least, Rick, Judge for 35 years of the fire department. Thank you very much. Now, I just want to give recognition to those people who are unable to be here tonight, but I do want to make reference to them. With the police department for 25 years, Victor Barrows, with our Director of Assessing, Steve Jambowski, for 25 years, our firefighter, Francis Kiley, 25 years, another firefighter, Daniel Mendez, 25 years, and then also Kevin Michaelwitz. You know, I said that I was going to mess his name up. Michaelwitz with the Highway Department, 25 years as a foreman. So I just want to say to everybody, thank you very much. And correct, I miss Officer Dom for 30 years with the police department. On behalf of the board, I want to say thank you very much. And Sean?
I'm sorry. Dominic, I bumped into Dominic. He said he would not be here. He was, I guess he does a lot of DJing and things like that for youth groups and stuff, and he's doing something along those lines tonight. So, just wanted to let everyone know that, he appreciates it, but he just cannot be here.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff in the youth.
So again, thank you for all your support. Oh, that's right. In our selectmen's room here, or hearing room, the town hearing room, I take that back, it's not us personally, there's a recognition of those people who've dedicated themselves for service and loyalty with the town of Scituate. It's a plaque on the back wall, and all the names of those individuals, including the ones tonight, are actually listed there. So we want to thank you very much. All right, moving on. We're going to go to...
I didn't say thank you.
You-
I was just nervous.
As far as I'm concerned, the job that you do every day is thanks enough. That's really, seriously, thank you.
Moving on, we're going to be looking at, for this coming year, 2015 board and committee appointments. And I think, gentlemen, we have a list of individuals who are looking to become, either to renew or to become a new member of any board. The first one that we have listed is the library, I believe. If I'm correct.
The first one that listed is Betty Foster as archivist.
Or archivist, I take that back. And she's not in attendance tonight, but it's a one-year reappointment. How would the board like to proceed?
By reappointing her. I make a motion to reappoint, I can't find, Betty Foster to the archivist position.
Second.
Or for a term of 1 year or until a successor is named?
I like the second, until the successor's named. I like that, if she's willing. That'd be wonderful.
Seconded by Mr. Vignani. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to the next, is the Board of Health. It's a renewal by Russell Clark. He also could not be in attendance this evening.
We're not going to do the Board of Health tonight, but we're just going to meet Kelly.
Oh, that's right.
Should you not have Miss Kelly here?
She could be in the hall, Lorraine, let me...
All right, so we're not going to do the Board of Health, but there is a new applicant who'd be interested in at least meeting us and us being able to interview her. And if she's not, we'll move on and see if she comes later in the meeting.
Figure that out.
So far, no.
Okay, I'll tell you what, why don't we go on to the next one at least, which is the Conservation Commission. This is a renewal of Paul Pears for a 3-year term. What is the board's position on Mr. Pears at this time? To either renew him or...
He's doing a very good job. He's expressed interest.
Do we have other applicants? And not that I'm not in
That's-
favor
yeah,
of
no, I agree.
reappointing Paul anyway.
I agree.
I think I am, but I just ask if
At
they're,
this time, know that there
Okay.
are applications coming in still.
okay.
So as of right now, no, but we may have some more applicants coming
Okay,
in
so-
future meetings.
Can I ask, Rick, if we appoint Paul, and people come in 2 months down the road, are there room for associates?
How many other, no, not, well, Concom's complicated.
There is one person who's going to be resigning from the Conservation Commission. I'm just waiting for his
Okay.
official.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Tufts is going to resign.
So
Kevin is-
positions opened up.
So,
There's-
yeah.
There are other open ones.
And actually, you'll note that Kevin Tuss is stepping down.
Yeah. She's going to do Paul. John, want to do Paul?
It's up to you, gentlemen. What would you
I'll
like?
move Paul Paris,
I'll second that.
reappointed.
Okay, move to appoint Paul Pears to a term of 3 years or
Yeah.
until a successor is named. Is that the motion?
Yes, it is.
And I second it.
Okay. All those in favor? Discussion, I guess, is the first thing. Any discussion? Seeing
No,
none?
he's doing a great
All
job.
those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. For the Council on Aging, we can address those. Dale, I thought I saw her. How are you? Come on up, Dale, just for a minute. I know you're already on the Council on Aging, and you're looking to be renewed, correct?
I am.
And I was just going to say, the board's met Dale before. Are there questions the board would like to ask Dale at this time?
Just explain what your role was up to this point. Are you an associate member or are you a full member right
Oh,
now?
no, I've been a full member for 3 years.
Great.
And, excuse me, my role is to offer input and try to assist the seniors of in the town. I think that's the role of every board member. We meet once a month, and I can't quote the mission statement of the Senior Council on Aging, but basically, we meet in an attempt to better the daily lives of the seniors, either through the activities at the senior center or innovating new ideas, and sometimes successfully and sometimes unsuccessfully. But because our meetings are taped and reviewed on cable TV, a lot of the seniors see our meetings, and the director, our current director is Linda Hayes. She's our new director, and she's got a lot of new ideas, and I know for a fact, because I volunteer so much at the senior center, they watch these board meetings, and they learn so much about the activities that are available to them. So my role is to just help perpetuate what the activities and what is available to the seniors.
Right.
And support Linda Hayes, our new director. She's doing a great job so far, and I think that's all I can say.
Right.
I know Dale firsthand when I was on it. Sean knows from being liaison. I know Marty presently. Dale, you do a great job.
Thank
And
you.
you know there's a lot of work ahead with the Council on Aging, with our proposal, with the senior center and so
Exactly.
on. And so in any event, any other questions from the board? Otherwise,
Thank you.
besides thank you,
Yes.
correct?
So, should I wait to hear, or should
Yeah,
I?
tell you what,
How
we're,
many openings are there?
We've got
1, 2, 3,
There's enough for all of these people to be on the board.
Plus.
okay. Tell you what, we're going to go through the interviews and meet with everybody, and then afterwards we'll vote. How's that sound, okay?
Okay, so I should stay.
You can,
Yeah.
yeah. You
I'll be
go right
happy.
ahead. Stay,
This
why
has
don't you
been-
stay? We'll get through all these.
This has
How's
been a great meeting
that?
so far. I'm so happy that if I had to come, all these other great things went on before this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
Ms. Young, would you mind coming forward?
No,
Thank you. This is for Renew on the Council on Aging, and you've been on it for, this is your looking for your second term, right?
Yes, I started in October, I think it was. I was filling a spot when someone else had left. And this is kind of new to me. And I think my basic mission is probably similar to what Dale said. But, I still have a lot to learn. And I did go to a seminar down in Marion where they had a meeting about Council of Aging, how different towns were going to approach either getting a new building or expanding, or, how they were going to go about it, and what the needs were, and it was very informative. And it was very interesting to see how other towns approach things. Plus, the person that gave the seminar made a lot of good suggestions about, things that you'll need in the senior center, how much space you'll need, things like that. So, and personally, I'm kind of happy. I'd be very happy if they incorporated the veterans in with the senior center somehow, because, we've got aging veterans too.
Right. Similar demographics, if not the same.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, other towns don't have the same demographics as we do. Like, for example, the town of Marion, they don't have the amount of the aging population as we have.
Right.
They don't even have a senior center, and then I guess Cohasset is, I don't know if they got a developer to build something and they're going to lease it to the town. So it's interesting to see all the different ways that people are approaching it, but, so that's pretty much it.
Questions from the board?
No, just,
All right.
once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just, your time.
Now, I know the other one that's been listed here is Gordon Price, but unfortunately, he's new to the board. If this board is to agree, or new to the council, if this board is to appoint him, so that's something that we can either ask to see if he can come to our next meeting, or what the board would like to do. The third one is Beth McCabe.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you mind coming up? Beth is looking for an appointment. You'd be new, correct? And would you like to just tell the board briefly? Primarily, we've seen the information submitted. Just gives us an opportunity for people on the television to kind of say, why are you interested in this? So what would you like to say?
I'm happy to
Beth?
speak with you. I do volunteer at Meals on Wheels in Scituate, so besides being a senior myself, I see those folks 2 days a week. I'm also on the Advisory Council for South Shore Elder Services. In that role, I would be bringing to South Shore Elder Services concerns of the seniors in my town. So I do know some of the concerns because of being a volunteer, but I feel that if I'm on this board, I would have more insight as to the needs of the seniors in the town and could then go on to my other role as South Shore Elders as a better advocate for the folks in town. So this is something I've actually wanted to do for quite some time. Finally, someone said to me, why don't you get your name in and see if they won't appoint you to that board. So I hope you will consider me. I'm also a registered nurse, and in that capacity, I've also worked with seniors. So is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Anybody?
I'm also retired, so I have time.
Sounds good.
That's
I
quite
don't want to
impressive.
just sit home.
That's quite impressive. I don't know what I could ask you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Well, gentlemen, we could, what would be the board's pleasure? We have 3 people who are here. We can vote 3 or all 4. There are 4 positions that are open right now. What would the board like to do?
I'd vote all 4.
Typically, we like to meet the people, but I think we're familiar with Dr.
Gordon,
Price.
sure.
And,
Dr. Price did, regretfully say he couldn't make it tonight. The challenge for him is his practice is still open.
That's right,
At the
right.
time of the meeting.
Right.
And that's the only
Right.
reason he couldn't be here, so.
Sure, right.
I feel comfortable.
All right.
So I move to appoint, we'll do them one at a time.
Sure.
Reappoint.
Beth McCabe.
Second.
To a term of 3 years or until, 3 years for the Council on Aging.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to appoint Gordon Price to a three-year term on the Council on Aging.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to appoint Deborah Young to a 3-year term on the Council on Aging.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Harris. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I move to reappoint Dale, is it Balog?
Oh, no, Baylock.
Baylog, sorry. Baylog to a term of 3 years on the Council on Aging.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Murray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on, the next position is the local auction permit agent, and that's Pam
I'd like to
Abitabli.
I'd like to move that we
Abitabli, right?
appoint,
Abitabli.
move that we appoint Pam Abitabli as the local auction permit agent.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Harris. Discussion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That leaves us with one final one, the South Shore Regional School District Representative. This is a renewal. The applicant is John Manning, who has done it for years for us.
And a great job of it. So I move John Manning to the South Shore Regional School District Rep.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Murray, seconded by Mr. Vignani. Discussion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't thank the South Shore for their building this kiosk many, many years ago.
Diaz, right?
Yes.
Diaz.
What did I say? Kiosk?
Kiosk.
Yeah, oops, sorry. Them foreign language words I don't do so good at.
Basically, the stuff we're using as a desktop. I do want to point out that Kevin Tufts has stepped down from the Conservation Commission. On behalf of the board, I want to say thank you very much for your service. Richard Mitchell has also stepped down from the Council on Aging, as has Joan Powers, who's done it for a number of years, as Richard, and Meg Steelman, who has also done it for a number of years, both on the Council on Aging, and just want to say thank you very much. Moving on to a discussion, vote, outdoor entertainment license with the Hadley Golf Club. Is there a representative? Come on up.
How are you?
Good. Can you just state your name for me?
Rod Tremblay, the clubhouse manager at the Hadley Country Club, and here to represent obtaining the temporary entertainment licenses for the following dates listed.
And it looks like you're looking for June, Thursdays, all Thursdays,
All
June
Thursdays.
19th, July 17th, August 7th, and September 11th. And what you're looking for is music to be performed from 6:30 p.m. till 10 p.m.
Correct.
And the music is a guitar with a form of amplification for 3 of the events. One is a DJ with amplification. And you mentioned it was going to be in the rear deck or where?
In the rear deck, where there's basically no houses, you know, so you've all been up there, I know, but the outside rear deck?
Yeah.
So it'll be out in the back of the area, and the music's not, we always keep it light, so it's, you know, people can still talk, and it's...
I was there yesterday, so that's what I was trying to figure out. The one that faces over the first, is it the...
18 green.
18, okay.
But the outside part, not that sunroom area.
Okay.
Where you eat, so it would be the outside area. Where the
Let's
stage
go,
is.
that's it, we're gonna annoy. Well, in that case, let's vote that up quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get some Def Leppard going for our friends and neighbors in Cohasset.
I've already delivered some letters to the abutters going down Hadley and the immediate abutters going down the road.
Okay.
You know, informing of these dates to them.
We've never had complaints
No.
in the past. I move to approve the outdoor entertainment license for Hadley Golf Club on Thursday, June 19th, 2014, at 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. for guitar player with amplification. On Thursday, July 17th, 2014, from 6:30 p.m. till 10 p.m., a DJ with amplification. Thursday, August 7th, 2014, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. for a guitar player with amplification. And Thursday, July 11th, 2014, from 6:30 p.m. until 10 p.m. for a guitar player, make that September 11th, 2014, from 6:30 p.m. till 10 p.m. for a guitar player with amplification.
Motion by Mr. Vignani, is there a
Second.
second? Seconded by Mr. O'Toole, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
As far as
Thanks, Bob.
payment for, thank you. As far as payment for each license, individual, $10, is it?
You'll be notified by the Selectmen's office tomorrow.
Okay, so you don't need it right now.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
John?
All right, thank you, everybody.
Good evening.
Cash.
No, this is not Tammany Hall. All right, moving on to 7:50, we're a little ahead of schedule. Discussion vote on a one-day liquor license for the following: hospitable hostess, lavishly done, Mackenzie, Ellen, and also tailor-made bartenders. Are there any representatives on any of those? I suspect not, but on the,
We've used them before.
okay.
These are the standard one-days that we've done before for events, and these people are on the list. Are they accepted? All right. Motion?
Motion then?
Move to grant hospitable hostess a one-day beer and wine license at the Scituate Maritime Center on June 14th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Lavishly Done a one-day beer and wine license at the Scituate Maritime Center on June 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Ellen Mackenzie a one-day beer and wine license at the Scituate Maritime Center on June 20th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and June 21st as well from 12 to 4 p.m. That'd be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And tailor-made bartenders a one-day beer and wine license at the Scituate Maritime Center on June 27th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Motion by Mr. Murray, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Harris. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Before we go on, has anybody on the board been to an event at that facility? Went to one Saturday evening.
Yeah.
I know you probably, I'm sure you have. But I have, and I don't want to say the caterer, you know, it was fantastic. I mean, the weather couldn't have been any better. That is
Really something.
quite an asset to this community. Let me tell you, if you have a chance to go, you don't miss it.
And I'd also like to point out to people, Mr. Harris is absolutely right, but you don't have to visit there as an event, particularly during the season. Anybody, it's part of the town property, and there's parking over there, and you can go up and bring a lunch, and provided it's not rented out, you can sit on the chairs
Now,
and
that's a
enjoy
good
it.
place
and
for a
there's-
hot dog stand.
And there's picnic tables down below, and it's open for everybody, even if you don't have a boat or don't have anything to do with the harbor, just come on over and enjoy it, because it's a town facility, and as Mr. Harris just said, it's a wonderful, wonderful benefit to the town, and we all should enjoy it as much as possible.
It was very nice.
Or ice cream. Good. Gentlemen, thank you. We're going to move on to the next agenda item. It's 7:55, discussion vote, common viculars license for JW's Wood-Fired Pizza for new owner Christopher Patrick. I am going to have them come up, but I am going to recuse myself and step off the board due to the fact that I've represented JW's Wood-Fired Pizza, and so therefore I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Harris, the Vice Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I would assume you're Christopher.
I am. Thank
All
you,
right.
gentlemen.
Okay. Before I ask comments for the board, I might give you an opportunity to tell me what you might do differently, or you're going to do the same thing, hours, all that sort of stuff?
We're going to open our hours for lunch as well as dinner, and then I'm also going to install a delivery drivers just for local residents in the Scituate area. Other than that, I'm pretty much keeping it mostly the same. I helped start the business with Jimmy last year, so I was already the general manager, so a lot of the things were already installed by me anyway, so.
Great, great. Comments, questions from the board?
So you came from Regina?
Yeah, I worked there for 11 years downtown Boston.
Wow.
Yeah. My store was on 800 Boylston, Prudential store.
Yep.
And then I also worked at Feast of St. Anthony in the North End for 10 or 11 consecutive years.
Wow. My favorite.
So you got a second to plug yourself down, so you sell not only pizzas, but sandwiches and...
Yeah, and we also do, I always do some side items, and like, I do, fresh baked homemade cookies. We do some Louisiana gumbo on the side, and some these little garlic nuts are delicious, and yeah, pizza sandwiches.
You'll be able to get them all delivered to you shortly, possibly.
Yep.
Great.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
All right. I'll entertain a motion if there is any other...
I'll move to grant a common victuals license to JW's Wood Fired Pizzas, new owner Christopher Patrick.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second by Marty. All those in favor?
Aye.
And obviously John's abstaining. Great. Good luck.
Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right.
Michelle,
Wanna-
can you get John?
John, you probably want to go to those two to dispose of them and then circle back to that.
I said
okay?
Jimmy didn't know he was talking about Mr. Burke.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
All right. Getting back here, we're going to move to discussion vote at 8:10, the ambulance billing collection policy. I think we're going to move, it's going to be postponed, so can I have a motion to postpone that
Move to
until the next?
postpone the discussion on the ambulance building?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. O'Toole. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
That'll be on your agenda on the 24th.
Fourth, okay.
Also, at 8 o'clock, still 10 minutes, that's the, actually, that's it, right? That's the public safety complex schematic design, I think.
Right, so you want to take a motion to table the other item, Mr.
Oh, yeah,
Chair?
which one?
School?
The school?
School.
Can we talk
Yeah.
about that? But not vote?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, why don't we do the public safety, since they're all here in the
Can you
morning?
start that before 8?
I
It's
think-
up
or
to
can
you,
we?
Karen. I don't know how many of your members you're expecting. Everybody else is here.
Could go through new business. Could do new business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since they're-
Okay, they say go ahead, so everybody's here.
All right.
So, Shane, I saw Shane. Yeah.
Gentlemen, why don't you come on up and get set up while we're doing it. This is, 8 o'clock, but we're a little early. The Scituate Public Safety Complex schematic design presentation and a vote for us.
And Don Walter from Doran Whittier's here, as well as the town committees, Chief Judge, Deputy Chief Murphy, Chief Stewart, and Ed DeSalvio from the
well,
Public
you gotta
Building
get that
Commission.
camera.
Hi, Ed.
Yeah, Mr. Campagna, Carl Campagna from
Mr.
Public
Campagna, I'm
Buildings.
sorry, Carl. And then we have representatives from the Master Plan, Public Facilities Master Plan Committee, Chair Karen Pritchard and Marla Minier. And Ann Burbine. So basically, everybody in the room that's not a reporter.
Kind face.
Don, how are you?
Hiya, Tom. Is that you riding by on your bike?
You just want to see if they have questions right off the bat.
Are you ready?
Um,
Go right ahead.
Good evening.
Ed, how are
Thank
you?
you for
Ed,
having
how are you?
us.
Who's presenting? Ed, you are?
I'll start off with the introduction.
Please.
We've been before you about 6 weeks ago. We're back again with some more updated information, and we understand that you've had, hopefully had a chance to review the report that was provided to you. And I just wanted to let you know that the Public Buildings Commission's been meeting since December on this project, and we've been going through the documents quite thoroughly. And the commission itself had a vote recommending that the report be approved and brought before the Board of Selectmen. So at this point, we're wondering if the board has any questions for us on the content of the report.
Gentlemen, anybody?
So we present the report. We have boards here tonight, which is pretty similar, are similar to what we presented about 6 weeks ago. So I'm not sure if rather than go through the same presentation we did a few weeks ago, if you guys had a chance to review the report, you had any questions on that?
The only question I had was, I know depending on what's going to happen with the middle school, is there any potential of access, but the lot ends, when I'm looking down there, the lot ends where the square is, and I forgot what that is. Is that a generator at the upper, the northerly portion?
Well, that's actually a potential outbuilding on the site. The lot does continue a little bit beyond that, but not too much further.
And I only asked that because when you were before Stan earlier with school, would there be a possibility of having access, not so much to interfere with the public safety component, but in the event that the school needed to offset some kind of like relief to their middle school, was something that I was just curious if that was a consideration, or if the building committee had any insight along that lines. That's all.
Yeah, if I could,
Sure.
that is something that could be explored down the road, and we think there is room for that. Of course, we're not showing the
School, right.
middle school option on this particular site. In fact, the school building committee and the school committee both voted for the co-located join to the high school
Right.
over the past week. So, but that certainly would be a possibility if for some reason this got opened up against the school site.
Good.
We did see a mock-up of that, though, I believe, right?
Yes.
With the safety building and the school?
Yes.
Okay.
What we didn't have was a connection through to
Right.
Route 3A from the school.
Gotcha, okay.
Maybe this is another question I forgot to ask when you guys were before, so maybe it's premature, but not if, hopefully when this gets built. Presumably, there's going to be a light out there somewhere. Will it be at the intersection of is it proposed or hopefully to be at the intersection of Chief Justice and Man Lot, or would it actually be in the front of the facility, as normally sometimes they try to push people back further, failing to, shall we say, block up the intersection there, or the, in front of the building itself?
No, it's a great question, and as you know, Mass DOT had done a study, and they're going to be doing some work right down to Henry Turner Bailey Road, and there's going to be some discussion with Mass DOT about the lighting possibilities here. We did a traffic study, and at a minimum, we want early warning detection, but beyond that, we already know Man Lot and 3A is a pretty active intersection.
Do you know how many,
dangerous.
on average, how many cars go by there daily? Just an average count for me. I know DOT usually has an annual, they can, if they do it. That's why I was curious if you knew.
Don't know it off the top of my head, but, so it would suspect that the early warning detection may be extended to that intersection and create a signal intersection. But we don't know for sure right now.
Questions, gentlemen?
And as it's proposed there, Don, those driveways would, you'd use all three? Or you'd go to a traffic engineer and have it?
If I could, what we're proposing, again, Man Lot and Route 3A, is this would be visitor, public access into the lot, which would bring you then into the building. Front entrance being here, main entrance being here, the community access here for the training community room. But egress would be out onto Man Lot. So we don't have anyone exiting the site from the public back onto Route 3A. The only vehicles that would be exiting or egressing from the site onto 3A would come out of the fire apparatus with lights and potentially sirens, or police vehicles would be coming from a secure lot in the back out to 3A that way, again with lights.
Just another question on that, Don, is So if their egress is going to come out to Man Lot, which makes perfect sense, would Man Lot, at least from that point to Chief Justice Cushing, have to somewhat be expanded
That's what I was
to
gonna ask.
accommodate?
That would all be part of the additional work that we need with the signaling, because it would make sense perhaps to have a left turn only lane at that intersection.
Mhm.
It's pretty,
With that being
pretty
said,
narrow road.
You need to increase the width of that road, which, as it is, quite narrow.
Right.
Yeah, I have two questions, or two comments, whatever. Why is the location not just slid all the way down closer to Man Lot Road?
Great question. And it used to be.
Yes, I know, so I was,
What we found out as part of the study
Mhm.
is that it is very hard to read. There's a thin line here, there's actually a wetland here.
takes care of that, okay?
By the road drainage, so we had to shift the building up to get up out of the bottom.
Sure. And then,
So-
also, I've had some other questions from people about the degree by which this is going to be LEED certified, or not necessarily LEEDs, but environmentally friendly, and not to sound too much like a tree hugger, but, you know, when a lot of construction is done, someone will come in and just cut down all the trees and then rebuild a building and then plant a lot of trees that will be there that are nicely grown in 40 years. And I just was going to request or support the idea for retaining as many trees as possible, because that also helps shade and will help to cut down on cooling costs and things like that. And then also, I look at all those roofs and I see where the solar panels and so on. And I know that's in the future, but any comments either Ed or you guys could have on that? Both of those points,
I
please.
think first and foremost, it will be a high-performance, energy-efficient building.
Mhm.
And we actually build as a baseline to stretch code,
Mhm.
20% over
Great.
the baseline energy code, which is being adopted as the baseline for
Sure.
the state, as we all know.
Yep.
LEED is always an option too. We've done a number of LEED certified, LEED silver and LEED gold
Yep.
buildings. There are a lot of strategies involved with that.
And I understand there's challenges with specialty buildings like this that, you know, it's
Challenges,
not,
There's costs associated with it.
Exactly.
Not that they're insurmountable.
Yep.
But it certainly, everything can be taken into consideration. Definitely energy efficient, high performance to start with. As far as the trees go, we will strategically cut trees out there. I think what's important to keep in mind, and we may actually involve an arborist, is that when it's predominantly a pine forest,
yeah,
because it is a forest, they tend to rely on each other for
Yeah.
support. So we have to be careful with what you cut and what
Yep.
stays, so
That's right.
they actually do stay over a period of time, because given the height of those trees, the last thing you want is something
no,
that's
no, I completely agree.
falling
Yeah.
on the building.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to be part of the discussion, that's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Marty?
Yeah, just a question back to the conservation land for a second, because I'm pretty familiar, I grew up right in that neighborhood.
Sure.
So, I mean, looking at how Man Lot sits right now, do we have the room to widen it? I mean, you know, where that is conservation land, how far can we go closer to that side? I know you really can't go to the other side because it's private property, but,
What's interesting is the wetland that we discovered in the corner, and then there's a smaller wetland near the front of the building.
Right.
Were actually created by road drainage.
Okay.
The structures that were out there, over time, they created a wetland, like that famous vernal pool.
Right.
So, but they're not seen as certainly as pristine or something that is as valuable as what's up
Okay.
behind you. So, in our early discussions with the Conservation Commission, we feel that there's some leeway that we could be afforded with the replication of what may be disturbed.
Okay.
So, I think there's going to be some opportunities to pull off the widening of the road.
okay.
Tony?
Yeah, just a quick question. So the public would enter on 3A here. Is the egress out to Man Lot two-way for
Yes.
police vehicles?
Yeah,
So police,
so if you're a visitor coming to the building also, you could enter.
Oh, you could,
in the
okay.
back. And what happens is that if you were to come in this way, you would have to go into this lot. This dash line that you see around the building here is actually secure parking for police and fire personnel and vehicles.
right, but you cannot, it's one-way going in, but two-way on Man Lot.
Correct.
And we saw the design of the building last time. It looked great in terms of the blue and red stuff, so. I was talking more the interior, how it was all organized, so I had no questions on that. Yeah, that,
Blue is police, red is fire, yellow is sheriff.
I thought it was like Democratic states and Republican states, independents. Good. Gentlemen, any other questions?
About $16 million, give or take. $600.
Yeah, there's a budget included with the report. There's $16.2 million, of which $13 million for construction costs. And then we had some soft costs, design fees, furniture, fixtures.
How long would it take to build it?
It's probably about a 12-month construction, maybe 12 to 16 overall, but it can be done in 12.
Mr. Chair? My only last comment on this is we started this meeting by thanking several police officers for their valor, and we're also, due to flooding and fires, we're also seemingly constantly thanking our fire department, men and women there. And we talk a lot about how this is going to increase or decrease the response time and everything and so on, and very much help the citizens. But I also don't think it should be forgotten that the fire department and the police department are filled with tons of people who are hardworking and who certainly deserve to be working in a building like this compared to their current facilities. And, you know, you look at this, and it's an attractive place. It's a place people will probably want to go to work. Not that they don't want to go to work in their current facilities, but this cuts two ways. I mean, it's certainly going to help the town in many, many ways, but it's also going to help the women and men that work in our departments, our public safety departments. And I'm just very enthusiastic about this.
Motion?
Well, actually, one last question, I'm sorry. This goes to Rick, actually. Was it a reason, headquarters is on First Parish, recognize that. Is there a reason not to make this, make 3A more of a headquarters and a larger facility, that it's brand new at all, as opposed to maintaining? That's all I was just thinking, knowing that this is going to be headquarters.
It's a cost thing. It's, basically, we're basically replicating what we have next door here. That was the plan.
Yeah, it would have to be considerably bigger, I would imagine, if it was going to be the
Right.
headquarters.
Yeah. The administration is going there, though.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, so Emergency Operations Center, fire, police chiefs, you know, they will be up there. That's the best we could do, try to keep the costs down, but make it as functional as possible.
And that'll relieve off some more space at headquarters, too, so. Okay. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Motion? Move to approve the schematic design for the Scituate Public Safety Complex as prepared by Dorr and Whittier Architects.
Motion by Mr. Murray, is there a second? Seconded by Mr. O'Toole. Any further discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
John,
Excellent.
I just, there's a lot of work that's gone into this in a very short period of time, and I really want to thank the chiefs and deputy chiefs and Sergeant Thompson. You know, the Public Building Commission was Sleeping Beauty for a while, and they have been working and meeting nonstop for the last, 18 months now. And I just really want to commend Ed DeSalvio for his leadership and other members of the committee, because they, you know, this building, oversight by liaison with the school building, the library, just a tremendous amount of work, and I want to thank you for all that work, and
it's not over
keeping you
either.
busy, and the good work.
We've got some more for you to
Yeah,
look at.
I know, we're halfway. No, so just, I want to thank them, and Dorn
Absolutely.
Whittier and Daedalus, so.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Scott.
that's good.
Great, thank
We're
you.
on
That's
to the
great.
next step then.
So the next step, Tricia, would be to bring it before the town?
Yeah, so what's happening now, we've had a preliminary meeting, and we're going to be working with the architect and the OPM to do a similar process which the school has recently completed, with several public meetings going out into the community to share that. The chiefs will have an active speaking engagement roster with the chamber and other groups in town to explain why the facility is needed. We have a building that's been approved for schematic design, but the second piece is, why do we need a building? And I think, you know, that's the story that a lot of folks are still unaware of in terms of the condition of the fire station and police station.
Good? Thank you, folks.
Thanks.
All right, now, moving on. Hang on one second, I'll get to my agenda.
Okay.
Which one is it? Page, oh, hang on. Business.
Is there just one original?
That is page 40. So we're moving on to other business.
Oh, wait, did we ask
Sean
Don to
here?
come in? You want to talk about the school with Don?
Oh,
Chief? Is Don Walter still out there?
You're not off the hook yet.
Don, we're just going to ask you quickly, I know you made reference to the school committee's vote last night, and we were supposed to have it discussed tonight. We're not going to get into full discussion, we're going to have it at our next meeting, but I think board members just quickly wanted to have kind of quick, I say, an update. In other words, I think the point is that I guess a decision had been made by the school committee, and could you just inform the board what that is, and we can readdress it again in 2 weeks?
Essentially, the school building committee first went and recommended the co-located middle school, high school on the...
Oh, Robin, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you there. Robin, come on up, too. I'm sorry. It's the chairman, right? Robin? Yes, okay, I'm sorry. The chairman of the school committee. I apologize.
School building committee.
School building committee.
I snuck in.
Rich is the chairman of the school committee. Robin's on the school committee, folks.
Yes.
We got it.
A lot of committees.
The dots. There we go.
Committees.
Sorry to interrupt, Don.
Oh, so on June 4th, the school building committee voted for the high school option, the co-located middle school at the high school site. And then last night, the school committee approved that recommendation, and we are submitting the preferred schematic report on Thursday, June 12th, to the MSBA.
Was it unanimous, Robin, or was it as strong as what the school building?
Last night was unanimous.
It
For the
was.
school committee, it was unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is
And then
there
for
any
the school building
alternative,
committee,
or
it
is
was
it just...
14 to 1.
Is it any alternative, or is it just one of those? In other words...
What happens is we started with the 13 options and then narrowed it down to the 5 options that were under discussion, semifinalists. Then ultimately, what we're required to do, the town's required to do, is to submit a preferred option to MSBA for their consideration. So that gets submitted on Thursday. There would be some discussion back and forth with what they call the Facilities Subcommittee, which is made up of MSBA staff and some of the MSBA board members, to maybe refine and answer some questions that they may have. But ultimately, the goal would be to go to a July 30th MSBA board meeting for approval, or I should say acceptance, of that preferred schematic report, which will then allow us to move forward with a schematic design for that option. So this is the preferred option.
Okay.
Does the MSBA require only one preferred option, or would they have accepted 2 or 3 or some sort of prioritization? Obviously not 1 through 13, but I mean, like,
Right.
in theory, just so I understand the process and I can defend this process to people. I mean, if you would come forth and say, you know what, this one or that one, we're good with either of them, or do they really want one?
They really look for the community and school committee essentially to come forth with one preferred option. That way, they know where the school committee stands, where the building committee stands, and they know what it is that they're working with.
Excellent.
If something terrible were to happen and they would say this is unacceptable, then everyone thinks back to the drawing board. We've had early discussions with them already, and they understand what's coming forward.
Sure. Great, thank you.
And we already took the 13 down to 5,
Right.
and then investigated those further. So there was kind of a step-down process of 13 to 5 to now to the 1.
So yeah, there was the same amount of effort and research and design went into the 5 options.
Right.
Before we voted on them, so each one was looked at in detail before we picked them.
Then the group, can I just jump in for a second?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Then the group went to as many groups to get as much feedback as well as exposure, okay, to see what those people thought as their preferred choice. So that's what, they were trying to attempt, and I think they did that. And
I think that's a great point, John, because of the groups that we saw, there was overwhelming support for the option that was selected.
But to like Rick's point, if someone were to approach Rick and say, well, why did they decide that? Well, Rick now knows
Now
that,
I- now I
they
can answer
reached
that
out,
question.
and you guys were a big part of that, and trying to get feedback so that wouldn't happen.
Tony?
Yeah, I think that's, part of the process where John wanted to have some discussion tonight, because I assume it'll be in the paper, in the upcoming days for your vote, and that's when we'll start getting the feedback from the populace, and they'll start having their concerns about, I can imagine, you know, a 6th grader and a 12th grader being in the same building, and the explanations, you know, Superintendent McCarthy told us the other day how it's really separated as best as possible. You know, the fact that it's going to really take away those fields up there, and the school's going to be close, you know, to the vernal pool out there, and those types of concerns. I know someone had concerns about, you know, is there another gym? I don't think there's another gym.
Yes, there is.
So there's a second gym.
There'll actually be a third gym, because there's 2 at the high school. We'll be adding a gym for the middle school also.
Right, the small gym, so there will be a gym in the middle school as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important to point out that they will be substantially separate. They'll be physically connected, but there will be a middle school and there will be a high school, and there will be boundaries that are established within those buildings.
And I think it's important that Superintendent McCarthy said, you know, that this educational model is the one that other communities are adopting, and it's really the one of preference. And they're really the experts at that, not us, in terms of educationally what is, not so much bricks and mortar. And it kind of goes into the whole plan that we were just talking about with public safety and town hall, you know, to open up this space for more of a campus thing is, I think, the big picture plan that all of us have been talking about for years and years. So, you know, it's all coming together slowly, but those questions will be posed over the next couple of weeks, and then it'll be on the agenda for next week for us to vote, so.
And
Mr.
Marty?
O'Toole first.
Really just a point of clarification. I'm the new guy, but I've been kind of following along, and I kept hearing that we were waiting to hear what the MSBA was going to say. But all of a sudden, we present them with what we want. I'm just wondering why it took us so long to do that. And again, it's a clarification, and so we've given them really what we want, whereas why didn't we do that 6 months ago?
Well, there's a whole process we had to go through, which led us up to where we are today. But that waiting for MSBA, we had some, they had questions of us after we submitted our preliminary design program. And then we went in as a group and met with MSBA week ago Friday, I guess it was, or a week and a half ago, essentially, and sat with them and explained the process that we had gone through here, explained the educational model, showed them the building, so they had a better understanding of what it is that was being presented here. And everyone left there happy with a better understanding of what was being presented. Now, no full commitment, because that wasn't the point of that particular meeting, but there wasn't anyone saying no either, which could come out of a meeting like that.
Right.
So that was the discussion that we were having with MSBA.
And the waiting part that happened between the vote in November that we had to get the feasibility funds to the point where we selected the OPM, and that was a long period of time, just because we were waiting to get on an agenda with the MSBA to be invited into the feasibility.
Okay.
Right.
To go forward with the OPM selection and the designer selection process. So there was a little waiting time in there, but it was really just.
Well, I guess just one more question, just so I understand it fully. So, the thing that someone has mentioned at one point was there is the possibility they could come back and say, renovate the Gates School. So that's no longer. Okay.
That's what the part of the feasibility was, to see if that was feasible.
Okay.
And one of the options that were looked at, one of the 5, was to renovate Gates, but essentially, and Dawn, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they did come up with an option, but 90% of it ended up being new construction, and only the facade was able to be saved.
And the gym.
And the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you.
Again, just in the spirit of us being able to answer appropriate questions, because many people in town don't understand the real appropriate distance between the school committee and the Board of Selectmen, and so we need to be able to make sure we're able to defend this as well, which is why we're discussing this.
So this is helpful, because we can create an FAQ.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you please explain again why a model school appears to not be in the cards? Because a lot of what we hear about is there's significant cost savings. Maybe that's a myth. I don't know. But everybody says, use a model school, it costs half the price, blah, blah, blah. Can you just give us a few helpful pointers about that?
So I think, especially with this preferred option chosen, because of the site constraints we have at the high school and the educational program that we're trying to accomplish, a model school wouldn't work on this site. I'm not even sure. the model school would fit at
Yeah,
other sites that we had.
That's right. The model school is a building that's already been designed that can be tweaked a little bit, but it's essentially that building. That's where you gain your savings in design funds. In the past, you were gaining savings with construction because the construction bidding was such that prices were lower, so you can get the project out faster, which is not true today. The market has gone up a little bit. But what's important is that we did look at a separate, detached new middle school at the high school site also, and it quite frankly didn't fit. It was too close to the high school, 10 to 20 feet, and then it was infringing within that 125-foot buffer that's been established with the Conservation Commission for the vernal pool. So that separation wasn't able to occur, even with something that we were designing specifically for that site. So a model school would not have worked there. On top of that, the model schools are 3, 4, 5 years old. So educationally, they're not meeting the model that was established here in Scituate for the middle school moving forward. And that's very important.
Yes.
Where it's, we're establishing a model that is specific yet flexible moving forward. So 10, 20, 30 years down the road, someone's going to say, why did you design this? It's set up in such a way that you can use different educational models within the building. So it's not tied into any specific way of teaching and learning.
Yeah, and the model school program was mainly high schools also, right?
There's one
middle school.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I just want to, we're going to be seeing you, I think, in 2 weeks at our next meeting, but it just a little heads up for us, which we really appreciate.
Excellent. If you have any other questions, by all means.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to other business. I believe, do we need Sean here, Tricia, or to ratify the?
No.
All right.
No. We're gonna read it and,
Okay.
it's just to change the correct book and page numbers, that's all it is.
So it's a Scribner's, John.
It's a Scribner's error.
Yeah,
In other
so
words,
so the book and page was wrong, was recorded at the deed, so we have to do all this paperwork, as you know, at the registry to correct it and make sure it's accurate going forward in perpetuity.
there we go. I just,
I think,
Somebody
where's
wanna-
the
Page
motion,
40?
way down the end, Lorraine?
what page are we on?
Motion
40?
to write under other business.
Page 40?
Yeah, page 40.
Yeah.
Just so that people understand what we're doing, it's a conformatory order of assessment of betterments for public way improvements, intended to confirm and ratify the original order of assessment of betterments for public way improvement dated January 17, 2012, recorded at the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds, and it references the book. And apparently there was one mistake on that recording, and so we need to correct it. It's called a Scribner's error, which means that it was not intended to be the wrong number, but that's what happened, so we need to change that. But in order to change that, we have to vote it here, and so that's what we're looking to do with the betterment that's been assessed as of January. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the street that we're dealing with was Sir Simmons and Hickory Lane.
That's the second one, yeah.
That's the second one. The first one is for which one?
Public improvements.
A betterment.
John, that doesn't change the dollar value?
No,
or
just
nothing
basically,
else?
we had the wrong book and page, and
Okay.
that's referenced for purposes of property. So
Move
this
to
is just correcting it.
Move to approve the change to the confirmatory order for assessment of betterments for public way improvements order dated January 17th, 2012, recorded with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds for parcel ID 34-31-27-U-R to the correct owner, book 17365, page 182.
Motion by Mr. Murray. Seconded by Mr. Vignani. All in favor?
Aye.
Take a second motion.
Move to approve the change to the order of taking for Persimmon Drive and Hickory Lane as a public way, order dated January 17th, 2012, recorded with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds for parcel ID 34-31-27-U-R to the correct owner, book 17365, page 182.
Motion by Mr. Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Vignani. Seeing no discussion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that takes care of that. Now, getting back to my agenda, we have correspondence. Do we have any correspondence? I didn't see any.
I didn't see any.
No. We don't have any for the clerk to read? No? Acceptance of minutes for May 27th, 2014. Is there a motion?
Move to accept the minutes?
All right.
of May 27th, 2014, in the executive session minutes.
Second.
Okay, so should we do them separately or altogether? Separately. All right. Motion by Mr. Murray.
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Vignani. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Seeing none. And now a motion for the executive session minutes? Can I get a motion?
I don't have my count. Get 'em. Just say it again, Rick, if you have it.
Yeah, I'll move that. I'll move the executive session minutes of May 27th, 2014.
Motion by Mr. Murray.
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Vignani. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Other business?
Other business, actually. Who's got some other business? Mr. Murray.
Just, this is a question to Tricia, because it is waterways season, sorry, sitting next to you, Sean, but the RFP for the Wi-Fi, and I know it wasn't going to be ready for this year anyways, but the RFP, I understand, has been, going to be reissued or something, and just briefly?
We had a bid opening last month. We received one bid. That bid was rejected. We're out to bid again, and the new bid opening's June 19th.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Oh, yes, one thing, Mr. Danahy, Mr. Vignani, and I had the pleasure of all being at the Jenkins School music concerts the other night. And having been to those now for a number of years, it's definitely one of the highlights of my year. And it's just great seeing all the young different stages of chorus and instruments and everything getting up there, and great community spirit. Saw people from all different Venn diagrams of my time in Scituate, friends from the Board of Selectmen, friends from playing hockey, friends from waterways, friends from everywhere else, all there in a nice community around public education, and it was just a great event. And those people at Jenkins, and I'm sure at the other schools as well, do a great job. It was just a lot of fun seeing everybody there.
Mr. Harris?
Just a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank all those people that took the time to go out and vote a couple of Saturdays ago. It was a nice day, and thank all the volunteers. I think our town clerk had her hands full there for a little while with the write-ins and so forth, and they did a really good job. So that, and something that I think about that I forget. If we needed that defib, if someone had to use that, can any of us use that?
I can use it.
I have no idea.
I can do it.
You can?
Yeah, Marty.
Yes, I
So
did
if I
ask
go
that
down,
question.
I don't want Sean.
Yeah, you don't want me. No, sorry, so you guys, that's good. I'm good. That's it, John.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. O'Toole?
I just a quick thing. There's a new support group in town, and they're called the Scituate Young Adult Connection, and it's really for kids 19 and older, and they're having a kickoff this Friday at 7:30 p.m. at the GAR Hall. It's also sponsored and supported by the Clergy Association, and it's a sober summer kickoff, and everybody's invited. It's a pretty good support group, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Vignani?
Just quickly, as Sean mentioned, I want to thank everyone that went out to vote, and the few of you that voted for me.
Sean beat you.
I think Sean beat you.
Sean beat you.
Thanks for
Trounced
noticing,
you, I
guys.
believe.
We were never saw your sign.
But no, it was a very well-run, and there were some contested races there, and they were all done, properly and up front, and you'd like to see that involved in the election. So thanks to everyone that volunteered for that. I wanted to congratulate the class of 2014. They graduated on Friday, and I heard the event went very well. I want to commend the kids from the class. I worked at the all-night party, which is an unbelievable undertaking that a group over there does. I know Tracy Kitty heads it up. I don't even know who's on the committee. But they turned the small gym and half of the gym into this Disney extravagant thing. And, a majority of the class went there for the all-night party. They check in between 11 and 12, and it goes through, Marley, you probably know, goes through till 6:30 in the morning. And there's just volunteers of anyone who does not have a kid in that class goes and volunteers for that period. And I had the 10:30 to 3 shift. And all the kids were so well behaved. They just had good fun. There were no incidents at all, and it was really, really proud of that class and the group of kids that were polite, spoke to you, participated in the events, and it just very, very well run. And I just wanted to, thank anyone that was involved in that event. again, First Friday, I think some of you guys were out there as well. Very good event on Friday, very well turned out. I saw Tricia down there, and there were hundreds of people walking around there. So that, the Chamber does a great job with that event. It continues to go strong. So, you know, we've got a lot of great things going on in the community, so I hope everyone's taking advantage of them.
Just a few things. I just wanted to say I attended with Marty the firefighters' memorial service. It was a breakfast on Sunday morning, and then the service they have annually, and it was well attended. It was well done. And aside from that, I have nothing else. I'd take a motion to adjourn at 8:29 if somebody wants to.
Move to adjourn and sign documents?
Sounds very
Second.
good. All in favor?
Aye, aye.
Good night, folks. Thank you.